I feel inspired. As they say, haste makes waste. That's one way to say something. Well, I got the creative juices flowing, so let's do religion. It was Uncle Johnny telling you what's going on with that stuff. Okay, so let's not go into any specific religion right now. Let's start out by talking about Captain America. Now, Captain America is what? What is Captain America other than the perfect example of a human being? Strength, morals, protection. A man. A man who steps up for not just men and other men, but for women and the entire world. That is Uberman, as the Germans call it. The perfect idolatry, the icon. Captain America is a modern day icon, a modern day fan fiction character type person, right? So now that we've decided what Captain America is, and I hope we've come to an agreement that he is, especially his first movie or something, like whatever his initial movie was, which was like Captain America, check him out for the first time. Like however they made him probably less complicated than they probably didn't complicate that very much. They probably just stuck to the script of the perfect man, right? So if Captain America is the perfect man, who's I guess I'll pick on my religion first, because I guess we're allowed to pick on Christianity, so I'll pick on Christianity first. Who is Jesus Christ? Well, Jesus is the Jewish Captain America. I think it goes without even saying. Jesus is the Jesus. That's what Jesus is. He's the fan fiction Uberman of a certain sect of kind of like a weird sect of the Jews that kind of came about probably, well I wouldn't even say probably, it's 50-50 if you really look into who Jesus was. 50-50 he was real, first off, and then about 90-10 as far as with the scholars that study him, about 90-10 think that he rose from the dead or something, right, and walked on water and all that mess. So about 50-50, about 10%, and 50-50 means that that he was special. 50% of people think he was a special human. 50% of people think he didn't exist. And then now separately from that, or it wasn't a special human at all. But no. It's about 50. So what was it? My friend was studied it, and he was with a bunch of people that were studying it for the rest of their lives. They basically dedicated their life to Christianity. In one way or another, and only half believed in the resurrection, half didn't believe in the resurrection, and 10% didn't believe he existed at all. Now, personally, I believe it's a 50-50 that he existed at all, and probably didn't walk on water too. That's about 98% sure he didn't. Corpse didn't walk around and shit. And then it's probably his mother probably wasn't. If he did exist, his mother was not a virgin. It was a very common story, oh, how do you know he's special? Oh, well, he was born of a virgin. It's just people back then thought that rats, if you put a rags on the floor, that the rags actually made the rats. So that's why people believed stuff like that back then, So people believed in the conjuring of things, right? And I'm not saying that doesn't exist at all. I'm not saying that we don't live in a holographic universe. I watched God make a mistake once, and I'll go into that later. But I think I watched The Matrix get updated once. Much good story, but I'm not going to go into that now. We're talking about religion. So that other guy Moses, who started the whole dealio, almost certainly wasn't real. Another Uberman, fan fiction. Muhammad, I'm not going to say because I don't want someone to stab me through the heart, but I'm not sure you're catching the theme here about religious figures that never existed, right? But mostly that's what it is. And I'm not going to say what I feel that, Muhammad was real or not. That's not what I'm going to say. I'm just going to say I'm not allowed to say it. Okay. Moving on. Does this mean that you should stop going to church, and stop being with your family? Does it mean that you should join the cult of Uncle Johnny and follow me instead of stay in your church if you like the people who are in your church. Okay, especially if you like the priest. If you like the priest, I go to church. Uncle Johnny goes to church, not a lot, but he loves his priests, and he loves his community, and he loves the whole thing. I love having a moral code that we can all know that we all are supposed to at least try to follow for the most part. Like there's nothing wrong with going to church, and even if I believe God exists, I believe he's unfathomable, but I believe in a power higher than the human brain. I mean, how can you not believe in a power higher than the human brain? You think the human brain is as good as it gets? No way. No way this crappy brain we have is as good as it gets. I promise you that. There's no way. What a crappy brain we all have. Ugh. Okay, so religion is a lie. But don't freak out. Okay? It doesn't mean that God isn't real or that there isn't something there. It just means that humans are full of shit. And they make stuff up so that you have to give them money. And maybe one day I'll do a separate video about how the Bible can't even really be the original word of the prophets. You can look into that yourself. Like that this is just advice. You can look into how the copying and pasting back then wasn't exactly like Xeroxing. Like it was difficult. People would ad lib, add, take away. And then in the year 600, Council of Nicaea just threw out the Book of Enoch completely. We wouldn't even know about it had we not found those Dead Sea Scrolls. Anyway, I'm going to stop. I pick on Christianity too much because I'm a Christian. Point is, everyone's lying to you. Just like everything else in life. See you on the next lie. This is Uncle Johnny, not taking a shit because I'm just on a roll. What can I say?